Hello, my name is Tammy Mirza. You're familiar with my channel. I'm actually going to go do something really different because I've got one of my really good friends here, Brad Mulder, who has invented some machine that you call a gift machine. What do you call it?
I call it a wishing machine.
A wishing machine.
Yeah. Been working in conjunction with one of my closest friends, Joshua P. Warren, and he's been on Coast to Coast, and he does like a lot of radio show, TV shows, that kind of thing. And he and I got together about 12 or 13 years ago. The reason why we joined forces was he did a webinar called The Wishing Machine. And I was kind of interested in this thing because I heard about it with Art Bell back in 1993. And it kind of, I've heard stories here and there. And then Josh finally did a webinar, and I watched the webinar, and he suggested that I read a book called Elementary Psionics by a gentleman by the name of Charles Casamano. I read that book, and it had schematics for building radionics devices. And I built my first one within 24 hours after that webinar. And my life has never been the same.
Well, I want to show you what this machine looks like. And this is my personal machine. And I want you to describe for them what this is, what is behind these dials.
Well, it's not really simple, but this is an input plate. This is an output plate. And the input plate is when you're dialing the machine, which is you turn these dials, and basically you're just adjusting for a frequency, like you're dialing in a radio station to make something happen. Like whether it's to get a better job or a relationship or anything, a million different things. All right. Anyway, you're going to do this, and there's a dowsing technique. It's called getting a stick. And what it is, as you're turning that knob, you're rubbing your finger across that plastic plate. When you get to the right frequency or the right position on that knob, your finger is going to start to stick. It's going to feel like you're running it across a rubber. Okay, it's going to grab
a little bit of frequency or resistance.
Yeah, basically. It's like a dowsing technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you go through every one of these knobs. You do the same identical thing. And once you do, as I should have mentioned before, you'll have the target, a picture of the target on the copper plate on the input, and also something that represents what you're trying to accomplish. If it's money, you'll have like a dollar bill or a dollar sign or something along that line. And you put that on there. And after you dial all this stuff together, you take the picture of the target only, or the thing that represents the target only, and you put that on the white plastic plate. And once you do that, you just plug it in, let it sit, and let it do its job. It's really simple stuff.
See, I haven't even had these pictures on here. No. And yet I can give a testimony of how this works. So let me just talk about this for a minute. You know that I'm a spiritual teacher, and I'm a conscious alchemist, and recovering from as much as I have, I had to learn that I either got in alignment or I didn't eat. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times I'd have 50 cents in my pocket. I couldn't even afford a McDonald's hamburger during that time frame. Well, what I learned was how to do conscious alchemy by getting myself in alignment. Mm-hmm. And then as I did that later, in many years later, and I've been doing this for quite a few years, I decided to change my hair color. Mm-hmm. And so I woke up, I went completely gray. I was letting my hair grow out, and I cut it off really short because I wanted to go the gray. I was tired of coloring it. Now everybody says, keep it colored. They like it better. Yeah. But during that time, I decided, Brad, that I wanted to change my hair color. So It was pretty wild.
Right.
Because I would wake up and I would have these dark blonde patches.
Right.
Like some kind of weird spotted dog.
Right.
And I would have to work at that every single day, mm-hmm. because the next day I would have more gray and less of the blonde. Mm-hmm. So I realized that doing that kind of alchemy, doing that kind of thing where you're trying to keep your hair color different is harder to me, mm-hmm. because it requires so much energy, so much time.
Right, exactly.
Consistently. Well, that's what I love about your wishing machine. Because once you plug this in, once you program it, once you plug it in, it's doing the work for you.
Exactly. It's a tool. It's like anything else. Yeah, you can walk down the street to the store, or you could drive down the street to the store, but you're accomplishing the same thing. The end result's the same thing, but one is easier than the other. And that's what I designed this for. And I mean, it's I can't even describe all the different things that these machines are being used for over the years. I have thousands of clients all around the world that use these machines, and it's just been absolutely probably one of the greatest adventures of my life. And I'm glad I found my calling. In a weird kind of way, you and I kind of joke that we're like we're one of those special people. But
What, on the short bus with the
yeah,
helmet?
on the short bus with the helmet, exactly. And but it really is just that all we're doing is we're able to focus our minds and are able, and in my case, I use a tool. You're able to just do this without a tool, and be able to accomplish things that sometimes people think are absolutely impossible. And I just find it astounding. And what I really love about this technology is it gets the average person, it gives them their power back. That's what I've noticed is the bottom line. Because I think I've talked about this before too, where we probably met a lot of people just feel like they're the victims of life circumstance. I mean, they feel like they have no control. And this is just one of those instruments that they can use, that they can start getting that power back and starting to control their
Anybody
lives.
can use this.
Anybody can use
And
this.
what I do is a very conscious alchemy, and it's a process and a journey to get to that point,
Right.
to where you can do it. But even the consistency of like my hair color, I finally just gave up and went back to coloring my hair because I didn't really like the silver. I was the 50 Shades of Gray.
Okay, note yourself.
Oh, it's not like that. So I love this machine because for people who haven't had that kind of training or worked with somebody like me who knows how to teach conscious alchemy, you have this machine that they can use. You've got how many models?
I have approximately, it varies depending on my mood. I have approximately 7 or 8 different types of machines that I sell through different vendors. People who do have different modalities and have different clients and what have you. But what I like to, my main client base, or the people that I deal with, are just like you. It's just regular people who are trying to improve their lives. And that's really what and that's really my client base. And I have that I sell to the general public that I think the general public would be interested in. It's probably 4 different models. This one right here is the best model. I call this the Shiva. And this is really is probably the best thing I've ever done. I came up with that model when I was driving back from Las Vegas back in May of this year. And I had plenty of time on my hands because it's a 28-hour drive from Las Vegas to South Carolina.
I would never do.
You would never do that in a million years. What I would tell you is, okay, Tammy, I'll meet you out there. Give me a head start. No way. I'll fly on a private jet. I may consider that. Okay, but no, it's just one of those things where I had plenty of time to kill, and I just kind of came up with I built thousands of machines. I wanted to come up with the best of all the different models, all the different machines I've built over the years, and come up with that the best, the masterpiece. And that's what I came up with this one.
Well, let me tell you what I have experienced with this one. So the first model that you brought me it didn't have the 12 dials. Behind each of these dials, there are crystals.
Correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's science, spiritual, and physics probably involved in the components of this, right?
Correct. And the reason why I use crystals, and matter of fact, people in the electronic industry will verify this. Crystals are used to store memory. You'll see a lot of quartz crystal involved in the RAM memory of a computer, or the chips that are in a computer. And for whatever reason, they maintain a certain vibration, and they're able to retain information. And that's what these crystals and these machines are doing. They're retaining the psychic information that you are projecting through your consciousness into the machine as you dial it. And it takes that information and recycles it in the system over and over again. It's like a snowball going downhill. And as it goes through the system, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. You'll probably notice, I think, I had a machine for you. I guess you could probably fill the energy off of it.
I think there were 9 dials on that machine.
And I think the next morning you walked in the room and you said something about the energy was coming off the machine. It was working overnight.
Yeah, and I didn't even have it plugged in. I didn't know it was supposed to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I experienced as an empath was that I came in the room, and he said, just start with something small,
Mhm.
and I didn't know about the pictures. I just learned something new
Right. And
because you know that I can visualize.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. And when I use these machines, I don't use pictures anymore either. But the reason why I suggest people use, we call them witness samples in radionics. And the reason why I suggest that people use them, especially, people who are starting, is just helps you focus on on the target and on what you're trying to accomplish. And that's the reason why I suggest they use a quote unquote witness sample.
yeah.
But in reality, you don't really need one.
Yeah, well, if you
If
you
you're
are
been
aware
doing
enough
a,
and you've been doing this kind of
yeah,
thing
yeah.
for a while. So what I did was I wished for a home. And let me tell you, the very next morning I came in the room in the den here, and it was just sitting on the table where you had taught me how to read it. You knew that I could do this very quickly. So I was turning the dials and
Mhm.
just kind of feeling, and I could tell the resistance. And then I just trusted that I had the dials where they needed to be. The very next morning, I walked in the room, and to be honest with you, I said, "Oh shit, I'm about to disrupt my entire life
Right. I remember you
by
telling me
my
that.
wish."
Mhm.
And guess what? I did.
Mhm.
It didn't turn out the way that I was thinking that I wanted it to be, but what it did do is give me some clarity. So I'm just going to share that testimony, and then the testimony of this one that I used and what happened immediately after plugging. We actually plugged that machine in later. Then I plugged this in. I told you to take the other one home because I got this updated version. And what happened is that I'm renting this condo that I'm living in here. And within about 2 or 3 days, all of a sudden, the real estate company that is in charge of my lease wrote me and said, the owner wants to know if you want to buy the condo.
Mhm.
And so it was the wildest thing, because I knew this doesn't make sense. He has to honor my lease through next year.
Mhm.
Why would you sell the condo right now and offer it to me?
Mhm.
And what it did for me, Brad, was you think you want something, you think you want to manifest something, but it may not be the highest good for you in that moment.
Right.
So even though it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, the clarity that I got that this isn't the home that I want to buy, this isn't the style, the kitchen's too small, this den's too small for me,
Right.
because I want to have gatherings. It did help me to understand that it's okay that the timing is not right now, but that opportunity came up within 2 to 3 days.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
knew that it was like, well, first of all, feeling that energy when I walked in here, didn't even have the plug for it, going, oh shit, oh my goodness, this is huge. I could feel how far the energy was going out. It was transmitting, and it was perpetual. I could tell that it wasn't like, okay, I shot it out there into the universe once, and let's see when it comes back to me, which is a lot of, doing the alchemy.
Right.
Well, and that is true that you can do that with the amount of energy that you are sending out. Then you can do it once, and it will boomerang back to you. This thing is really good for people. And then I tested it the second time, and I told you, okay, I got a manifestation for the first time.
Right.
I want your upgraded version. I want to buy that one. I want to own that one. And then I asked you to calibrate it for me because I was busy.
Right.
So you calibrated it, you plugged it in. I left it over here beside the table. And within 12 hours, somebody contacted me. And this time, some of you know that I work with my business coach, Tony J. Salimi, and that every single time I work with him, I have to manifest the money. Just like some of my clients have to manifest the money for me, I have to manifest the money to work with my mentor. And he's not cheap.
Yeah,
You're
right.
not shopping at Walmart when you work with Tony Salimi, but the benefits are worth the value of what you get. So I had put myself in a position of needing to manifest almost twice what I had manifested before. And I was going through a difficult process of, gosh, can I do this? This is more than I've ever manifested before. But I know that with each level of growth, each position that I put myself in, I will do it. It's a matter of the fight within me to get in the really not doing resistance. So I ask you to do that for me.
Right.
Within 12 hours, I had signs, and I'm talking about, you did it at like 10:30 at night. The next morning, I had the signs that was coming through. And I did manifest the rest of the money that I didn't have at the time.
Mhm.
So I'm a witness to not even doing it my way spiritually,
Mhm.
but I was also getting out of my way. And by the time I met with you, I'm like, please calibrate this machine for me. I was busy doing something else for us. And let's just put this in place. I
Mhm.
wanted the testimonial of it. I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to see it. I wanted to feel it. And I can tell you that out of the two models, the first one's very valuable.
Mhm.
The first one worked.
Right.
And then the second one worked. So it's a very interesting tool for those of you that are wanting something else. You're wanting something to help you with your life. You don't have the spiritual knowledge or the tools, but you're in pain enough that you want more than what you have. This is a great way to go. So tell them how to get in touch with you and give me a couple of testimonies from people around the world, because I know you sell these things around the world now.
Okay. Well, first off, let's make it simple. If they want to buy one, let's contact you. Let's just have them contact you, then you can contact me. And that way, and what we'll do is we'll give them the Tammy to Mirza discount, 10%
Oh,
discount.
wow. Did y'all get that?
Yes,
You
we're
get a
gonna do it.
discount. That's
I'm gonna
awesome,
get, yeah,
because
you
we're doing
contact
this
her.
YouTube.
Contact her and I'm gonna give you a 10% discount.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no, I feel like, when you came on my show and we had such a fantastic feedback, and I realized the kind of people that subscribe to your channel, and they're just awesome people. And I want to do
Oh, I
something
love my
to,
people.
oh
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
they're awesome. And I just want to do something to just say thank you for, coming on the show with me and let me, be interviewed by you and just kind of spreading the word about what we're doing. And now let's switch gears here. Testimonials. I'm gonna give you a good one. This one just happened just recently.
Okay.
I'm familiar with a woman who, or became friends with a woman who has show horses, and these show horses are, I couldn't believe the prices of them. I mean, some of these horses go,
Oh, yeah.
$250,000 easy. And she had this one horse that she needed to kind of calm down in order for it to, go, so they could show it out in, some of these gatherings they have, for the equine community or whatever, but they cannot use any kind of drugs because these horses are constantly drug tested for any kind of performance enhancement drugs. And she wanted something that was that didn't require anything, that she just wanted to be able to settle this horse down because it's just so wild. And I said, okay. And all I needed was a picture and the name of the horse. I got those two pieces of information, and I tuned the machine for this horse to basically take a giant horsey Prozac and just settle down. And within 4 days, she said the horse just, his personality completely changed. It went from being rambunctious and wild and just kicking to just being very kind and mellow, and just it was just a pleasure to be around. I thought, okay, and we're working on a second one, just like you. She's testing these things, and we're working on that. But that goes to show that we're just using this like for animal behavior. Another thing I was working on, speaking of real estate, I had a woman whose husband had passed away, and she was selling their home at a golf course over in Greenwood, South Carolina, and there's a beautiful house, but she wasn't getting any takers. And she said, "Hey, Brad, apparently I got a white elephant here. I put money in this thing. It's a beautiful home. It's, great location, but I haven't got anybody's making any offers." And said, I just really need to get this off my back, get it sold and whatever. And I said, okay, let me see what I can do. She gave me the address, gave me a picture of the house, and I did something a little bit extra with that one. Have you ever heard of St. Joseph in real estate?
Yeah.
Well, they use St. Joseph, and they'll take a statue and they'll bury it upside down in front of the for sale sign. And for whatever reason, that helps sell houses. All I did was just, in this particular situation, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was still using samples on my machines. I took a sample of something that represented St. Joseph, the house, the address, and the ask or the selling price for the house. Put everything together. Within 2 weeks, she had an offer. And I think within a month, the house closed.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
So you're offering this to people not to be used for evil purposes.
It's free will. I can't say it's free will.
That's not what I'm saying. And if you want to do that, don't contact
Don't do
me,
it. You karma.
because I'll read it, and I won't put you in touch with him. But if you're wanting to use this for something that is something that you want, I had a weird situation one time where a woman wanted me to, she had gone to a witch to cast a spell on a guy to make him fall in love with her because he was wealthy. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about if you have a need or a want or something that you know is yours, or you want it bad enough, or you haven't been able to get over it. This is what I would use these wishing machines for.
I would agree with you on that. And that's another thing too. There's two things I've noticed that people are always asking for is 80% of the time. It's either romance or money. It's always one or the other. And I always tell them, don't wish for that specific person. Wish for the right person for you. Okay, because what you've done there, you've opened up the entire universe. I
could share a story about that.
Anyway, I digress. All right, but no, wish for the right person for you, because there's certain qualities that you're looking for, whatever. And I've always heard people, they wish for they want this person, they're in love with them, they have a crush on them, and yada yada yada, and they finally get together and they realize, what did I see in this human?
Not at all what I wanted.
Exactly. So just best thing to do is wish for the right person for you. And also, when it comes to money, another little Dr. Mulder tip here: don't wish for the money itself. Wish for the thing that you want to use the money for, because your mind is better able to, instead of looking at it as a pile of cash, it's better able to concentrate on that new car, that new house, the new furniture, whatever it may be, that trip to Europe, which you seem to take quite a few. Anyway,
I manifest those.
Yes, you do.
The old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. Okay. But yeah, just wish for those, wish for the things that you want to use the money for, not just the money, and you'll be a lot more successful. And that's
is it true that the same principles apply that I teach this, that you get into resistance when you're worried about the who, the when, and the how? You get in resistance. Is that applicable for this as well?
Yeah, don't overthink it.
Okay.
You throw the intent out there.
Make it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid. Exactly.
Yes.
And just let the universe take care of it for you. And that's how I do it. Because I am more successful whenever I just tune this thing for whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish and just forget about it and go on to something else. That's when, like, for example, when I tune this machine for you, for your, for the thing you want me to do, I tuned it. And I put it, plugged it in, walked away. I didn't give it another thought.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I left it right here because I really don't want to be moving it around, and it was out of the way for me.
Yeah.
So I really didn't think about it. But then I realized right before you came tonight for us to have dinner, which I keep striking out on restaurants that this guy likes, or should I say some of the food that he likes?
Do not let Tammy to Mirza order for you.
Okay, disclaimer, this guy is not a foodie and he doesn't appreciate good food.
Good food, just not your definition of it.
You thought that Thai was Chinese. Come on, you thought
I thought Thai food is not Chinese.
And now they understand the concept of dinner with you.
I knew I was in trouble where there was no soy sauce. That's when I knew I had a problem. Anyway,
but he's got this.
I got something going for me. I'm not a complete loser. Anyway,
so I was thinking when he was on the way over here, and I told him at dinner, I said, "You've got to recalibrate my machine. I want you to do it again. I want to test this again because what I'm doing, guys, is I'm figuring out whether he does it for me or I do it for me. It's very powerful." So if you do have instructions, you do have ways for them to use this, you've got ideas of things that they can say, because as you are manifesting or bringing something towards you, you don't want the energy to be not a good energy. You really want it to be clean.
Right. Exactly. And, yeah, I'll help, anybody who contacts Tammy. I'll be more than happy to provide you any kind of information that you may need or instructions. There's a lot of videos out there. I have my own channel that I do on YouTube.
Tell them what the channel is.
Okay, it's the Dr. Liz and Mulder show. And Dr. Liz is one of us, quote unquote. She's a very accomplished woman who's serves in the military, and she's going to be coming back home in about another 12 days.
I
Which
love her
oh,
already.
she is awesome.
I
She is.
love her.
She is. She's like you. You two are a couple of badass ladies, and she. Yeah, I think you two would hit it off. But yeah. Anyway, we have this channel there, and we discuss radionics, and we go through. We answer questions from the audience and that kind of a thing. And I have a lot of interesting guests on there, and just people that the common denominator is always radionics, and that's what we try to accomplish with this. Because I've looked at a lot of the forums and a lot of things that are on YouTube when it comes to radionics or any other platform, and they don't really go into a lot of the regular everyday questions that people have, about, like, getting back to romance and money, and what's the stick feel like, and all these other little different things. And I want to provide people with an avenue that they go to and to get that kind of information. And so
I love it. And then you can reuse this over and over and over again for
Correct.
different things.
Correct. And that's what it's designed for. And so, yeah, really the way I do this thing, it's all one wish at a time, and keep the machine going until that wish manifests. And I love the word wish, because it's just so common. It covers so many different things.
Mhm.
But yeah, just let that, that intent, we'll just say that, let it just let this intent manifest for you. The intention, yeah, let it manifest for you. And then once it does, then you can go into the next thing.
Now, do you clear this before you?
Yes, I do. After the operation is over with, all I do is just circle everything back to zero. Once I do that, it's ready
Once
to
you
start.
do it, it's clear.
It's clear.
Okay, so it's not like having to take the crystals out in the sun or all this other stuff
None
that
of the
people
others.
say.
No.
Okay,
And
all right.
yeah, another thing I've noticed too is the older these machines get, the more powerful they become. I mean, I have one.
What?
Oh yeah, the older they get, the more powerful they become. Some of my best machines I built back when I first started, like 12 years ago. And I have one machine I bought down in the mountains of Georgia, of all things, northeastern Georgia. It was built back in 1925, and that machine, that's for another show. That one has a personality. It's alive.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it really does.
Wow.
Yeah, it has a female energy, which, yeah, that figures for me. I don't know, with the ladies, but anyway,
that's a whole other story. We're not going to get into.
No, but no, it's a female. It's we call her Maggie. It's a Magno Wave. Is what is the actual product name. We call it Maggie. And Maggie is almost 100 years old.
Wow.
And that's one of the most powerful machines I own. But then again, the thing's been around for 100 years. And so, but yeah, these machines, they seem to get better as they get older. And
it's not a big investment.
No, not at all.
For this, I mean, I was surprised.
No,
and I don't want to talk about price because this is eternal, and I know the prices will change over the years, and somebody may get this 10 years from now. But the price is very reasonable. I was kind of shocked when I found out what that was.
Yeah,
for what it is that it's offering.
Right. Well, when I first started, we built sort of a basic model, and it was just, the radionics really wasn't that popular back about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
That answers the question I was going to ask you, how long you've been into this.
Yeah, it's over a decade. And I have literally built, I think I probably built close to 8,000 machines. I was told I was one of the most prolific manufacturers of radionic devices that has ever lived. So if there's a master at this technology, I'm supposed to be one of them. And I tell you, it became my calling. I don't know, after I started, as I said earlier in the show, when I built my first machine, my life was never the same.
Would you please tell the audience why you're offering this to people? Because you could have developed these machines and just started using them for your own use.
Right.
You can have 2 or 3 or 5 in your home.
Right.
Right. And you can have them programmed to different things.
Correct.
But you've also talked to me about connecting them at times, which gets into something very complicated.
So, yeah, it's not really that complicated, but I think your first question, why did I start building these machines?
Yes.
Well,
why do you share them with the public?
I felt like, I don't know, it just got, I tell you, when I first got interested in these machines, My daughter was going to college and I did not know how I was going to pay her tuition. And so I was looking for a way to, for an extra income. And for whatever reason, the universe lined up. I saw this wishing machine. I thought, that's interesting. I started building it for myself. One of the first wishes, pay for my daughter's tuition. And so, things just kind of lined up. And Josh asked me, said, "Oh, well, hey, Brad, maybe we ought to join forces and see if we can sell these things." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And I had no idea what they were worth at the time. I was just, back 12 years ago, materials were a lot cheaper than they are now. But I just figured out I was very very logical about the thing. How much what's the cost of the materials?
Right.
What's the cost of my time, my
Right.
labor? And that's how we came up with the price.
Mhm.
And so, it's just a very basic machine that progressed as my experience level grew with these machines. And I finally realized, okay, what works better than, or what works best. That's when I started progressing with the machines and started advancing them to, when they became stronger and stronger. And that's what we wound up with today. It's been one heck of a journey, but I hope I've answered your question on that. If I haven't, let me know.
Well, we were talking at dinner, and one of the things that I was seeing in you was the heart to help
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
And the reason that you're coming up with better models is
Is-
because of that heart.
Correct. And that's one thing I noticed about this. It gives, and as I said earlier, I hate to sound like a broken record. It gives people their power back, and it gives them, where they can control their own fate. Because like we've noticed a lot of people out in the world, they just kind of gave up. They're just, wake up at 9 o'clock or in the morning or whatever, go to work, come home, eat dinner, wash, rinse, repeat. And they don't think their lives can advance, or they don't think they can do any great things, or their dreams. I don't think they can actually live out their dreams. Well, they can if they decide they want to. And this is just a tool to help progress that, just like what you do. It's the same thing that you do with, with your clients. And it's just, we just have different ways of doing it. And that's all. And what I like is that we're able to take like what you do and incorporate it with this, because
Mhm.
what it does, it amplifies what you do with this technology.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I have absolutely no doubt, just because of being an empath and being able, I get my hands heating up just being near this machine. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Is there
you.
anything that you would like to add, or anything that I forgot to mention?
I think we did okay. This is all we were
Very
trying to do.
impromptu.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
rehearse it. We didn't even talk about it.
No.
I told him, I said, I know what I want to say about you. I know what I want people to know about you. So if you're interested
And I am
in this,
relieved. Anyway. Anyway.
it's very easy. He's not used to doing recording. So I said,
No.
my people need to see you.
Yes. Normally, I do not show my face on most things I do. You, ladies and gentlemen, feel honored. You finally get to see who Dr. Mulder really is without
That's
disguise.
right. You will not see him on his channel. You're just
No.
seeing him on my channel.
Yes.
So get in touch with me if you're interested in buying one. I can guide you to the steps and what to do and what model might work for you. And thank you so much for being my friend.
Oh, thank
Really,
you.
thank you.
You're a
And
sweetheart.
for developing something like this isn't something that I have the capacity to do. There's a genius involved in this, and there was a lot of research that you did, and you have the evidence that this works, and you sell these around the world.
Yes.
So get in touch with me at tammydemirza.com. You can easily find me on my website, and then we will go from there. If you're looking for a tool to help you manifest something that is positive in your life, this is it. This is it. Or come and work with me and we'll do it the other way.
Or incorporate the two.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea
Not
too.
a bad idea.
Maybe they use this and manifest the money to come and work with me. Because
Possibility.
I used it to manifest the money to work with my mentor.
Yeah. Well, another thing too, be careful what you wish for, because you may get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be clean about it. All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. for joining us tonight. I'm so glad to introduce this machine and what your work is
Thank you.
and what you are doing for humanity. And next time.
Bye now.